Donald Trump, and take it with a grain of salt, has promised full transparency when it comes to most of the big conspiracy theories of the past 60 years, something he campaigned on in the lead up to the election. The issue led to an absolutely Hall of Fame interview clip.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others.
Yep, Epstein. Sure about that? Maybe not Epstein.
Trump's promises are like his marriages. They don't last. He promised to release the Epstein files, and his supporters actually believed him. Why wouldn't they be suspicious? The man who partied with Epstein, who called him a terrific guy, who likes women on the younger side, suddenly wants to release damning evidence? Come on! His MAGA followers are finally catching on, demanding answers about these files while Trump squirms and deflects with Kennedy document distractions. You can see his discomfort growing with every interview. He knows what's in those files, folks.
I wonder why Donald Trump wouldn't want the Epstein files being made public. I mean, here he is in 1992 dancing and leering at women with his buddy Jeffrey Epstein at Mar-a-Lago. In 2002, Donald Trump said Jeffrey Epstein is, and I quote him here, a terrific guy. It is even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. I wonder why Donald Trump wouldn't want the Epstein files being made public. Thing is, many members of Trump's base do. The Republican House Oversight Committee sent multiple letters to Attorney General Pam Bondi demanding the Epstein files be released. Bondi then went on an apology tour to Fox News, promising the documents would be released imminently. Today, the White House made a big show of handing a bunch of conservative influencers binders labeled the Epstein files, Phase 1. But the whole stunt was a bust.
What's interesting is we're all waiting for bombshells, we're all waiting for juicy stuff, and that's not what's in this binder. That's not what's in this binder at all.
It is the biggest disappointment I think that you'll find. I encourage you to do your own homework on this. It's mostly procedural jargon, Glenn, heavily redacted.
Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, the Florida Republican leading this charge, said of the binders, all caps, "This is not what we or the American people asked for, and a complete disappointment."
The binders labeled Epstein Files Phase 1 were nothing but a theatrical stunt. Empty promises filled with redacted pages and procedural jargon. Even Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna called it a complete disappointment. Trump's supporters were expecting bombshells and got bureaucratic garbage instead. But here's what's truly mind-boggling. These same followers ignore the actual Epstein evidence that's been staring them in the face for years. Photos of Trump with Epstein and Maxwell, videos of them partying together, their documented friendship. The hypocrisy is staggering.
Intrigue surrounding the release of the Epstein files, Martin Luther King files, John F. Kennedy files. Some current and former FBI agents are saying, some of them telling me, that they feel the FBI establishment came out ahead in the standoff sort of with the New York FBI field office over releasing the records, and your Attorney General Pam Bondi demanding them but not getting all that she wanted. Is that process still on track? I think that's one of the most often questions I've been asked the last couple of days, to release these records on Epstein, MLK, and JFK.
Well, Pam Bondi's done a phenomenal job in every respect, and there could have been some holdback. I haven't heard too much about it, but they could. But the bottom line is the records are getting out. The Kennedy records are getting out. Those are the ones I really wanted to see the most, were the Kennedys. And during my administration, as you know, I released a lot of them, but then a lot of people started coming in, people that I respected, people that worked for the administration, asked me not to release the rest. And I respected that. They gave me certain reasons, but I respected that. And I did say, I must tell you, I said that probably wish I did release the whole thing because I have no idea what's in there. But since then they found, and we found 2,000 more documents on Kennedy. And the one they want most is Kennedy, and it's going to be released. It's moving along, and it's moving along pretty rapidly. It doesn't go that rapidly.
Weeks maybe, or longer?
I say weeks. Yeah, I say weeks.
Trump's mass deportation plan is failing spectacularly, thank God. The numbers don't lie. He's not even matching Biden's deportation rates. This fascistic attempt to unlawfully deport people is as much about distracting from his failures as it is about defying the courts. Have you noticed how he always creates new chaos when he's failing? He's not interested in actual border solutions. He's testing how far he can push against the rule of law. This isn't about immigration. It's about destroying democratic guardrails.
But while we're here, I thought it would be appropriate. We are tomorrow announcing and giving all of the Kennedy files. So people have been waiting for decades for this, and I've instructed my people that are responsible, lots of different people, put together by Tulsi Gabbard, and that's going to be released tomorrow. We have a tremendous amount of paper. You've got a lot of reading. I don't believe we're going to redact anything. I said, just don't redact. You can't redact.
Let's be crystal clear about what's happening. Trump is directing ICE to unlawfully detain legal residents based on racial profiling, destroying records, and holding people with documentation hostage in horrible conditions. He's not interested in legal immigration solutions like what Kamala Harris proposed. He wants a police state with him and Tom Homan calling the shots. And we cannot be afraid to call this exactly what it is: fascism in action. Why are some Democrats still tiptoeing around this issue?
Because Trump is failing to hit the big numbers on mass deportations that he's promised. We've reported this on this show previous to this clash. He is lagging far behind Biden's numbers. Let's take a look at the chart. If we have the last full month, Trump came up short of Biden's number. So you could call that roughly a tie. You could call him slightly behind, apples to apples, a month of February deportations. That is the context for part of the extreme effort and messaging. Indeed, ICE and border veterans have discussed this early record openly, that they're not exactly beating Biden. You're saying if you want to really up the numbers in a concrete way over the years, you'd have to go to Congress and get new funding, basically a new funding law to do it. Why do you think President Trump hasn't done that or talked about that yet?
Oh, I don't want to speak for the administration why they haven't. I'd be railing about this instantly because we've been saying we needed more beds, we need more funding.
I think he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do on the campaign this past cycle. I think the deportations are key in making sure that they are targeting the worst criminals first.
When you say prioritization of the worst, does that mean fewer overall deportations? Because one interesting thing, and we're just following the numbers with you here, is if you look at the comparison, I'll put this on the screen, Trump versus Biden, right now, it's actually a lower rate of deportations.
This is the most aggressive action any president has ever taken to secure our southern border. We're also re-implementing, under President Trump's direction and leadership, Remain in Mexico. We're re-implementing Safe Third agreements, ending catch and release. And of course, we are unleashing ICE to perform its mission all across the interior of the United States.
We Democrats claim to stand for justice and human rights, yet some of us get uncomfortable naming Trump's authoritarian tactics. We need some backbone. Trump is counting on our hesitation, using immigration as a wedge issue precisely because he knows it makes some Democrats squirm. But there's nothing complicated about opposing illegal detentions and racial profiling. There's nothing partisan about defending due process and the rule of law. If we can't clearly stand against Trump's fascist deportation machine, then what are we even fighting for?
That's some of the discourse and the facts. The administration reportedly frustrated with their slow numbers, according to the New York Times. So as Trump appears to push a strategy of defying these court orders, he's not making that move from a position of policy strength. He's making it from a position of policy weakness and concern about not even hitting the Biden numbers. But you got to keep both of these things in mind. From a position of weakness, they're faltering on their own mass deportation vows, and they don't have some big bill in Congress or some other big plan to do what that former ICE director said in the interview I just excerpted, that you got to get money from Congress to build a lot of beds if you want to do this in a massive scale. Meanwhile, they got Elon Musk and other people cutting everything left and right with no organization. Then you have this wider autocratic question. Are they deliberately and repeatedly violating court orders on this issue where they want the attention? They don't want necessarily a full scandal, but they want people to think they're going hard at the issue because the long-term plan is to see how much they can get away with violating courts because they don't want to be in a democracy governed by the...
Trump thrives on distraction and chaos. Every time he fails to deliver on a promise, like the Epstein files, he creates a new crisis to dominate headlines. This pattern is deliberate and dangerous. His goal isn't policy success. It's about testing boundaries, seeing how much law-breaking his supporters will tolerate. And so far, they've tolerated everything. But maybe, just maybe, this Epstein file fiasco is finally opening some eyes. His supporters are angry, demanding answers about why their conspiracy-obsessed leader suddenly gets squirmy about certain documents. Keep pushing them on this. Keep demanding answers. Because when his cult of personality finally cracks, we'll need to be ready.